Good evening, gospel revolutionaries around the world. This is Michael Lilborn Williams coming to you live from the bonus room right here in the Queen City. We have some really exciting things to share with you. We hope you're having a very good Tuesday. What I'm going to be sharing with you was first inspired by Laney, and then after a conversation with my dear friend Michael Blanch, this kind of got expanded because I was sharing with him what Barry said, and then Michael took that and kind of helped me understand this a little bit more. It's wonderful to learn from other people. Please don't ever get to where you can't. It's also wonderful to be able to look at what other people say and compare it to the gospel and say, I ain't. You have a right to make a choice. You don't have to follow or listen to everything that comes across the airwaves here. So listen and see what you think about this. If it is something that appeals to your mind, then, maybe it'll be something to be helpful in your life. Things that are helpful in life, they got to kind of start here, right? Everything that needed to be done in here was already done 2,000 years ago. So this is the conversion area. So the title of this, and I do think it's probably going to take 4 sessions to go through this, because the title of this is The 4 Seasons of the Cross. Yeah, you heard it right. The 4 Seasons, not Frankie Valli. But the 4 seasons of the cross. Now, the younger guys just like, what? Frankie Valli? What's that going to do with it? But I think most of our gang kind of knows Frankie Valli and the 4 seasons. But that's not what this is about. This is about the 4 seasons of the cross. And it is very powerful when we are able to use this imagery to present a gospel that has been settled for 2,000 years. We believe Paul got it right. We don't think Moses got it wrong. We don't think the prophets got it wrong. We don't think everybody screwed it up except Mere Bible. We think that these guys all had their part to play. We do see very clearly, as admitted by the disciples and Paul and himself, that these guys, the apostles and the disciples and the apostle Paul, they disagreed with each other. And they explained their differences in several places, not the least of which is Galatians chapter 1 and 2, where Paul withstood Peter to the face for bringing the doctrines of James into the house. It's like, So I know for those of you that were taught that all of this is scripture, that is now probably caused you to reach right up there and push this and go up. But we beg you, please listen for a little while. I'm not beyond begging. We'll do anything to help people understand the powerful truth of the cross. So what are the 3 seasons of the cross? So as this was brought up, I mean, it was amazing. Barry was the one who said, wow, now I know what happened before and after the cross, but I also know what happened during the cross. He was making reference to our teaching on the Revelation. And I tell you now, Barry's doing more videos now, and we're not going to let him stop this time. I'm going to go down to Alabama and find him if he quits again. Barry took a break, and but boy, is he back with, I would say with a vengeance, but there's no vengeance in this boy. So, and yeah, I'm 71 years old, so I got a right to call Barry a boy. So anyway, that was first there, and like I said, I was sharing this with Michael, and Michael has a very creative streak in him, and he said, wow, it's like the 3 seasons of the cross when he heard that. And I perked up, and so I had planned on doing a video on the 3 seasons of the cross, and I thought, but there's 4 seasons. And then after I stopped and thought about, well, there's 4 seasons of the cross. So what are these 4 seasons? We'll be focusing on the first season of the cross, and progressively all the way through in these next 4 videos. So the first season of the cross is before the foundation of the world. Now we're going to go into that a little bit more later, but I want to lay this out for you and then go back and touch on a few verses that are very powerful in understanding that the work of the cross has a season. The work of the cross has a season before God said, "Let there be light." I like that statement because it gives no ambiguity about what we're talking about. I could say before he created all things or whatever, but the very first thing God said was, "Let there be light." So when I say it was before God said, "Let there be light," you know when we're talking about. I think that is exactly what the scriptures are referring to. And Paul's teaching also, and the teachings of the writer of Hebrews. So that's the first season of the cross. The second season of the cross was the law, the Psalms, and the prophets. And this was all of the predestined time. We're going to save that and go into it in a little bit more detail. The predestined time of the cross after man was created, and man was created in the condition he was in. Mirror Bible got it wrong, and all of that in particular ilk. God did not create man perfect. It says that he looked at his creation and said it was good. Now you can get on a play of words or not, one way or the other, but the fact of it is, it's very clear in Hebrews that they without us would never have been made perfect. They weren't into the perfection. God created Adam subject to vanity, subject to corruption, and that he might subject the same in hope. So we have a period of time that faith and hope and belief and obedience were a part of the lead up to the work of the cross to show us our need for the cross. What is the cross? Yes, God forgave man's sins, but he also completed man. Man was not complete in Adam, as it clearly shows. And this was not a surprise to God, what happened in the garden. So then we have what Barry so aptly said, we now understand what happened during the cross. So we have, before the foundation of the world, we have the period of time from creation to the cross. Some of these are big chunks of time. And then we have what happened during the cross, which we just taught on in the Revelation. We hope that you really enjoy that. And the teaching that comes out Friday is a synopsis, if you will, of the bouquet, of the very centerpiece, if you will, of the Revelation about this marriage supper of the Lamb. I'm not going to go into that. We go into it in detail. That comes out Friday. You do not want to miss it. We were not able to slow down on many of these things because our goal was to make it through the Revelation, and we did it. And what an amazing feeling. I'm still kind of reeling from that. But it was a wonderful experience for us. And from the phone calls and all the communication we are getting, people are just blown away with the understanding. I get phone calls with people in tears, weeping, telling me what has happened to them and the insight that they've gained by understanding the Revelation as Daniel and I taught it succinctly and verse by verse from verse 1 all the way through chapter 22 to the last verse. And they're just saying, I had no clue. Well, we didn't either. So we're all in the same boat. Once again, we're all in the same boat. And then, of course, the powerful season of the cross is after the resurrection. Yeah, that's a season of the cross also. And where we now stand because of the cross. You say, well, we need to go on from the cross. No, you don't ever go on from the cross because you'll lose the understanding of the death of sin, the completion of the human race, and understanding who we really are in this dynamic, big picture that many are trying their best to erase out of the minds of people. And you can listen to them if you want. It's not going to send you to hell. It's not going to send them to hell to teach it. They're not false teachers. They're not, the Beelzebub or nothing like that. Again, I don't know why I turned country when I do that. Guess cause I are one. We've got this incredible lineage of the cross. 4 seasons of the cross. Before the foundation of the world, we have also the period of time between creation and the cross. Everything predestined during that time. Everything predestined. Nothing is predestined now. Nothing is foretold. You don't have any unfulfilled scriptures in this last season. Please get it. The freedom that is in this is with joy unspeakable. It is full of glory. It really is quite amazing. Don't get bogged down in Christian thinking or mystic thinking, either one. There is a gospel that is the power of God to the saving of the soul. It really will save your soul. Promise, guarantees, all of that's out there. Money back guarantee. As we go back now in the few minutes that we have, I just want to read through a few verses here that are found. Let me rearrange my my computer here so that I don't have to look off to the side so much. And I want to go through several of these verses. And the first one being found in Matthew chapter 13, verse 35. And it says, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophets, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Now, everything was finished before God said, let there be light. It's an incredible reality that it's easy to conceive of because it has been instilled into the way we do things. You see, things don't start on a blueprint, things start in the mind. Then they go from the mind to the blueprint, from the blueprint to the beginning stages, to digging the foundation, laying the foundation, building the house. And this whole thing, if you take any part out of this, if you say the house just showed up in Genesis, chapter 1, you have no clue to the saving of the soul that the building of the house and the projected finishing of the house has. The first Adam was an image. He was not God in the earth. He was an image, and that actually means a shadow also. Then we find in Matthew chapter 25, says, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you before the foundation of the world. So once again, we get a good insight into this, that these things that were planned out in greatest of detail before the foundation of the world, God was not surprised by what Adam did. It was part of God's plan to expose the incomplete nature of the first Adam, to expose the incomplete nature and condition of the first Adam. And then John chapter 17, verse 24 says, Father, I will that they also whom thou hast given me be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory, which thou hast given me, for thou lovest me before the foundation of the world. I just taught you the other day on faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these, the oldest, the eldest of these was love. You see, faith and hope did not come into play before the foundation of the world. Faith and hope came into play after it was created, because faith and hope and belief had to be part of the third season of the cross to bring in the last season of the cross. I hope you like this as much as I do. And then Ephesians chapter 1. Ephesians chapter 1 says, as according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. So we now have that demonstration of the very same love that's been demonstrated toward us that the Father had with the Son before even the foundation or the creation of the entire world. And as according as he has chosen us. So when did this choosing take place? Hold on just 1 minute. When did this choosing take place? This choosing took place before the foundation of the world. So, but don't let anybody trip you up about this. It's just like the whole thing was done before the foundation of the world. But then once the process started, please keep the process of the story in its respective place. The prophets didn't get it wrong. Moses didn't get it wrong. They knew that this was a process that would be completed at the cross. And then Hebrews chapter 4. Let's skip Hebrews chapter 4. The last part of Hebrews chapter 4 verse 3 says, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. So all of the works were finished in the mind of God before the foundation of the world. And through faith also, Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed and was delivered of a child. And when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. And and received or conceived. The word conceived is the very same station, catabol. I didn't intend to actually use that one. And in 1 Peter chapter 1, now let me explain something to you. We're going to be doing a series this fall entitled the pseudographical teachings that are in the Bible. We're going to lay the whole thing out for you. One of the things that we'll be teaching is showing you that 1 Peter chapter 1 is Paul's teaching. And then after that, they attach that onto the front of Peter's teaching to try to meld these things together. They don't go together. They didn't agree. They will never agree. And we'll show you exactly how that happened. This also happened in the Revelation. It says, verily, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifested in these last times for you. So Jesus, everything about Jesus was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but it was manifested. Please don't get that wrong. This was not manifested in Adam. It was manifested in Christ. And then Revelation chapter 13, verse 8, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb that was slain from the foundation of the world. Now, if you go through the Revelation, you'll find out there wasn't anybody's name that was not written there. Everyone's name was written there. And this is the verse we rely on heavily about Jesus actually being slain before the foundation of the world. And very powerful, powerful insight. And then, of course, Revelation 17:8 talks about whose names, again, is stating this very same thing again. Revelation 13:8 and 17:8 are stating the same thing. But it's talking about how that this was all done before the foundation of the world. So we've gone over time. I hope that you don't mind that. But we have just completed, and we're going to keep these brief like this because we want you to understand clearly. Then you can go in and, my gosh, can you ever expand on this incredible insight of the 4 seasons of the cross? We have just looked at the first season, which was before the foundation of the world.